Extremely frugal is not a personality trait, it's a design choice. It means building a life that is low cost by default, so you keep more of every paycheck without feeling like you're constantly saying no. It's the difference between white-knuckled budgeting and a system that makes good decisions happen on autopilot. Extreme frugality is not about deprivation or poverty cosplay. It's about aligning money with meaning, spending generously on what you truly value, and cutting ruthlessly everywhere else. In this video, we're going to build an extreme frugality playbook that actually works in the real world. We'll cover the mindset that makes frugality sustainable, the big structural moves that change your numbers fast, the small daily habits that compound, the psychology of resisting status pressure, and a practical 30-day reset you can start immediately. By the end, you'll have a blueprint to reduce your burn rate, raise your savings rate, and create freedom without living a joyless life. What extreme frugality is and isn't. Extreme frugality is the art of lowering your ongoing costs without lowering your quality of life. It is not refusing every coffee or wearing shoes with holes. It's about systems, not suffering. You create an environment where the cheapest option is the default option, and the expensive option requires extra effort. You buy durable over disposable, function over labels, and you measure total cost of ownership instead of sticker price. You invest in skills that make you less dependent on expensive services. You don't starve your social life, you redesign it to be rich in experience, not receipts. The litmus test is simple. If a tactic makes your life feel smaller and more stressed, it won't last. If it makes your life feel calmer and more intentional, it will. Extreme frugality is supposed to feel like breathing room, not punishment. The mindset switch from consumer to custodian. Frugality sticks when your identity changes. Consumers ask, "What can I get today?" Custodians ask, "What am I building over time?" The custodian mindset reframes every euro or dollar as a vote for the future. You stop performing wealth and start accumulating it. You stop buying to be seen and start buying to be served. You don't chase deals to feel clever, you design systems so you don't need deals to survive. There is also a language shift. Replace "I can't afford that" with "That's not what I'm choosing to buy right now." Replace "I'm being cheap" with "I'm buying runway." Words matter because they instruct your nervous system how to feel about your plan. Start where it matters, the big three. Housing, transportation, and food usually eat most of your budget. If you get these right, you can be relaxed everywhere else. Housing is the backbone. Right-sizing your space saves on rent or mortgage, utilities, taxes, insurance, furniture, and maintenance. Extreme frugality favors enough over excess. That might mean a smaller place with better insulation, sharing with a roommate for a season, renting out a spare room, or moving one neighborhood over where the math is kinder. If you own and feel stretched, house hacking, renting part of your home, can turn your biggest cost into a partial asset. The aim is not to move constantly or accept unsafe conditions. The aim is to align space with actual use, not ego. Transportation is your stealth tax. New cars on long loans are the arch enemy of frugality. The extremely frugal drive reliable, paid-off cars longer than their pride prefers, buy used after the steepest depreciation, follow a maintenance schedule, and keep tires inflated. They combine errands, carpool, and prefer walking or biking when possible. Public transport is not an identity, it's a lever. Insurance deductibles are chosen intentionally to balance risk and premium. If you must own a car, owning it outright is a superpower. Food is where habits save thousands. Extreme frugality is not hunger, it's a system. You build a simple weekday menu, repeatable breakfasts, packed lunches, batch-cooked dinners, and save restaurants for intentional social time, not default exhaustion. You plan around staples, shop with a list, and cook once to eat twice. You learn a few cheap but great signature meals you genuinely enjoy, so you never feel punished. A hearty soup, a tray bake, a pasta with beans and greens, a rice and veg stir-fry. You store food properly and rotate your pantry so waste doesn't erase your savings. Utilities and home economy, comfort for less. Energy costs drop when you respect physics. Insulate, seal drafts, use thermal curtains, and set thermostats with zones. Heat yourself first, slippers, layers, blankets, before you heat empty rooms. Wash clothes in cold water, air dry when possible, and run full loads. Choose LED bulbs and unplug vampire devices. In the kitchen, a pressure cooker or microwave often beats the oven for energy. Water bills shrink with low-flow fixtures and short, intentional showers. These aren't sacrifices, they're engineering choices. Cleaning and supplies are ripe for simplification. Pick multi-purpose concentrates, microfiber cloths, and a sturdy brush, instead of buying a new bottle for every surface. Paper products become a sometimes item, not a lifestyle. Repair before replacing. A sewing kit, fabric glue, and a cobbler can extend the life of clothes and shoes for pennies compared to new. Health frugality. Save money by staying well. Nothing is cheap if you're unwell. Extreme frugality invests in sleep, movement, and food quality where it counts. Walks are free, bodyweight workouts require no membership, and a used set of dumbbells pays for itself fast. Preventive care, regular checkups where available, and basic first aid competence save future disaster costs. The frugal medicine cabinet is simple. Essentials you'll actually use, not a pharmacy's worth of novelty cures that expire. Shopping without regret, the total cost rule. The extremely frugal ask 4 questions before buying. Will this reduce future spending? Will it last long enough to justify its price? Will I use it at least once a week or once a month for the next year? What's the resale value if I'm wrong? This framework eliminates most impulse buys. It also justifies a few high-quality purchases, a good coat, sturdy boots, a reliable backpack, a sharp knife, that make cheap, daily life feel rich. They favor used markets for furniture, tools, and kid gear. They prefer last year's model in electronics or refurbished units with warranties. They keep receipts, read return policies, and wait 24 hours for non-essentials. If the urge fades, the item was marketing, not need.
Subscriptions, fees, and the auto-pay trap. Death by auto-pay is real. Extremely frugal people audit quarterly. They print statements, circle every recurring charge, and decide: keep, downgrade, rotate, or cancel. Streaming rotates, cloud storage consolidates, apps with overlapping features get pared down. Bank and card fees are negotiated or avoided with the right accounts. Overdrafts are eliminated with alerts and buffers. Rewards cards are used as tools, paid in full monthly or not used at all. Interest is the enemy. Points are a bonus, never a reason to overspend. DIY versus outsource. Build capability. Extreme frugality is a skill sport. YouTube and library books are universities. You learn enough home maintenance to handle basics safely, enough cooking to feed yourself well, enough mending to extend clothes, enough tech to fix simple issues, enough negotiation to lower bills. You don't become a martyr, you become capable. When you do hire out, you hire once with clear scopes and multiple quotes. Capability turns emergencies into tasks, and tasks are cheaper than emergencies. Social life on a budget that feels rich. Loneliness is expensive. You'll overspend to buy relief. The solution is a social calendar that isn't tied to receipts. Host potlucks, rotate game nights, swap books, walk with friends, explore free city events, picnic instead of prefix. If a group defaults to pricey plans, propose alternatives with enthusiasm. Let's do a sunrise hike and coffee, my treat. People follow confident energy. You're designing culture, not just saving coins. Partner and family alignment. Extreme frugality in a partnership fails if it's a surprise. Share the why, not just the rules. Paint the picture. Fewer fights about money, a year of runway, a trip paid in cash, options to change jobs. Agree on a joy line in the budget so no one feels punished. Make visible progress, a chart on the fridge, a shared dashboard, so the plan feels alive. Kids can join the game with age-appropriate roles, picking meals, helping with garden herbs, choosing free weekend adventures. Frugality becomes family culture, not parental austerity. Income, the other half of frugality. You can't shrink your way to freedom alone. Once your burn rate is low, funnel that breathing room into skills that raise income. Choose one marketable skill: copywriting, paid ads, data cleanup, bookkeeping, project coordination, UX basics, trades, and get 10% better every month. Keep a value journal at work, document wins, and ask for raises with evidence. If the market caps you, switch firms or freelance one client at a time. Extreme frugality creates the space to take smarter risks that grow your top line without anxiety. Negotiation and admin. Save with your mouth, not just your wallet. You can't save what you don't ask for. Once a year, negotiate bills, internet, phone, insurance. Use scripts that are polite and firm. I've been a customer for X years. I'm seeing better offers at Y. What can we do to lower my bill without losing features? Ask for retention departments. Bundle where it truly saves. For medical or service bills, ask for itemized statements and cash pay discounts. For rent, offer something of value, flexible move-in, longer lease, to trade for a lower rate. The worst you'll hear is no, the best is hundreds saved for the next 12 months. The 30-day Extreme Frugality Reset. Start with an audit week. Track every expense with zero judgment. Label each as essential, investment, or optional. Awareness will do half the work. Then pick a theme month. Theme 1 is the Big 3. Renegotiate housing or plan a room share, commit to paid-off transit, and cook every weekday. Theme 2 is Auto-Pay Purge and Pantry Month. Cancel and rotate subscriptions, eat your pantry and freezer creatively, and redirect savings to an emergency fund. Theme 3 is Capability Month. Learn 3 skills, knife basics, clothing repair, and 1 home fix, and practice them. Create a temporary no new gear rule for the month. If something breaks, repair or borrow first. Channel every saved dollar into a dedicated high-yield account, labeled with your goal. Runway sounds better than savings, so the progress feels like a story. Case study, the quiet transformation. Anna was constantly behind, despite earning decently. She lived alone in a too-big apartment, drove a financed car, bought groceries like she was always about to start cooking, and ate out because she never did. She felt guilty, then bought treats to escape the guilt. Her extreme frugality reset looked like this. She moved to a smaller place with sunlight and insulation, found a roommate she liked, sold the car and switched to a paid-off used one, built a 5-meal rotation that she genuinely loved, canceled 5 subscriptions, and negotiated internet down by 30%. She learned to sharpen knives and patch jeans. 6 months later, her monthly burn was down by 35%. The extra went to a 3-month emergency fund and a small index fund contribution every payday. Her life felt bigger, not smaller. She had time, calm, and a growing sense of control. Common pitfalls and how to avoid them. Don't confuse asceticism with frugality. If you remove all joy, you'll rebound into overspending. Keep a budget line for fun and be deliberate about it. Don't skimp on safety or health. False economy becomes real expense later. Don't spend $300 on minimalist gear to save $30. Don't let perfection delay progress. Begin messy, then iterate. And don't let comparison drive your plan. The goal is your numbers, not your neighbor's approval. Ethics of extreme frugality. Frugality that exploits others isn't frugal, it's parasitic. Don't borrow and break. Don't haggle small businesses to the bone. Don't return used goods as new. Pay fairly, tip appropriately when service is real, and be generous when you can. The point of extreme frugality is freedom, not meanness. The best part of saving is the ability to help without hurting yourself. What this feels like over time. Month 1 feels like clarity. You see where your money goes and you make the first big moves. Month 2 feels lighter. The auto pays shrink, the pantry has room, and you're cooking automatically. Month 3 brings momentum. The emergency fund looks real, a bill is lower, and you're not exhausted by decisions. By month 6, you don't think of yourself as depriving, you think of yourself as designing. Your life won't look flashy, but it will feel safe, then increasingly optional. Extreme frugality is a doorway, not a destination. Walk through it to buy time, peace, and options. Right-size the big 3. Install simple systems. Learn a few durable skills. Build a social life that isn't tied to receipts. Use your newfound gap to fund an emergency buffer and simple investments. And remember, the goal isn't to look broke. The goal is to feel free. If your costs are low on purpose and your assets are growing on schedule, you've already won a game most people don't even know they're playing.